Hey guys, welcome back. So in this critique session, I want to talk about one of my students. He's developing a really ambitious project. He's titling this particular part of it Moontown, and he's basically developing this whole fantasy civilization, on the lunar surface of the moon. So he's got a lot of cool things. We usually start out coming up with a lot of these types of comps that you see up on screen now. Some are close shots, some are far shots, some are kind of medium, some are dynamic, some are a little more flat and sterile, and that's fine too. But we kind of try to get a lot of ideas out of our system, the good, the bad, and then move forward with things that both that the student is feeling and both that I feel is a great direction for it as well. So it's kind of a mutual agreement sort of thing. And here's an example of one of the pieces he was working on previously. So he's been starting out with a 3D base and trying to incorporate more painting or painterly elements to it. That's a lot of what this particular student has been working on with me. He's really great at composing shots. He's pretty good at 3D, but he personally struggles with applying painting to the 3D models to make it look a lot more natural, a little bit more lifelike, and to have more painterly aesthetic. So that's what I've been working with him on there, and we could see his first kind of go or concept at the shot of this gate to the city here, which is great. And he ultimately kind of came up, for this particular session with two different alternative views and comps. So we'll be kind of painting over that. Alright, so here are the two new comps. It's always awesome to be presented with options. I think we both mutually agreed this was the stronger one. And my first thoughts on this is how are the values reading? What are these shapes? How can we simplify them? These shapes, these are all big shapes, small shapes, as I'm highlighting here. What could we say are medium ones? And this is again on a micro level. We obviously have much larger shapes and stuff in the scene. So I try to get a good graphic assessment of the situation and of the current structure of the image to see how we can push things. So I recommend simplifying and embellishing some of the rooftops, making a bit more of a statement with some of them. It gets very noisy, a little bit too samey. So you can again. That's something I don't want to. It's an easy to fix, so I didn't want to go too into detail with this. As I mentioned previously, I do want to focus more on getting the color and the painting aspect of it. So the student had asked at this point, how is my use of putting some of the photo elements in this, and that's kind of where I was showing him some of the cloud and the nebula-based things get a little bit noisy, in the fact that you can kind of directly see a lot of the same kind of photo patterns repeat. So I'm going to start by just fixing that by kind of overshooting it. I'm just going to start dumping in lots of colors. I'm going with this red, this orange. It's a little saturated, but it's also pretty low in color as well because it not saturate, but value. And so I'm applying very careful blending modes to this in my layers options, so it's subtle. Because I want that a little hint of that red in the sky coming up from where that the Earth is up there, and that whole horizon kind of element, because it's going to contrast the cooler colors and stuff down below. And so if I have warmer tones in the shadows to begin with, I think that'll create a nice color contrast. And so what I'm doing here is green is going to be the glue that holds all these colors together. It's in between the yellows and the reds and the sky tones that I'm starting off with up here on that cool kind of sci-fi horizon effect. And it's green is in the middle of the oranges, and it's going to be in the middle of the blues and some of the purples and stuff that we use in the foreground, in the majority part of the city. So again, I'm my initial instinct on looking at something like this, if it's a 3D block out and stuff, I want to get it as far away from that as possible, almost as soon as possible. I want to embellish the color. I want to put my own kind of handcrafted touch onto things, because everything generated by the computer follows algorithms, it follows procedures. It's all kind of generated very kind of systematically. And the beauty of doing things by hand and painting is that we can make lots of human errors, we can make lots of judgment calls, we can do things the computer can't. And so I'm trying to make these decisions internally with myself, and like trying to do things, of course, that help sell this as an idea, that bring the story to life, and basically can, we're just using that 3D more or less as a stepping stone to embellish a much greater idea. So again, I'm kind of thinking back to like the Northern Lights and a lot of the nice colors and the atmosphere that can happen with that. Even though this is up, in a hypothetical civilization on a moon in a fantasy story, I gotta always remember and think back to reality when trying to, augment and help, somebody else's idea and vision. And when I'm doing these things with them, I think this is, over the course, this is heavily edited. I chopped a lot of bits out and stuff, but over the course of like this hour-long session, and they would have lots of questions. I know I would spend time to make sure to ask them, and if I'm doing some kind of bold changes like I'm doing now, like basically tossing a whole ton of these greens and these blues into the background. Again, that's going to be my glue holding the warmer sky and the cooler on the bottom. But I'm pushing them, and I'm like, this is what I would do. But if you don't agree with it, that it's totally cool. I respect that. I'll kind of pull the reins back a little bit. Basically, kind of something like I'm doing here. Like I'm pushing the blue aura from the lights in the city, because the lights in the city are all going to be very cool, very blue. They're going to have that very much of that lunar type of feel to it. But green and the red in the sky is kind of our background plate, our background palette that I'm building off of. So again, I kind of start off really rough. I come in swinging with two fists, and I get it really garish and ugly. And then I try to explain to them, and of course this is going a little bit fast, is like you can put a lot of paint down, make a mess of it, then you can sort it out if you're using layers kind of carefully. So I get the idea down to see if I think it's going to work. I have to feel it out. I don't know if something like this is going to work well for this scene. So a little experimentation on my end. But sometimes being bold like this has its payoffs, and you got to almost like loosen up a little bit. You got to exaggerate that a little bit to get away from the stiffness of 3D, if that's kind of look. If you're going for something that's a matte painting or something that's supposed to look extremely cinematic and photoreal, probably not the best technique for you. I'm just throwing that out there. But for me in my paintings, I like to go sometimes actually with the gut feeling of things. It's a little artsy fartsy of me, but yeah, that's where I like to apply that sort of sensibility in my designs and in some of my scenes. So right here, what I'm doing now, I'm getting the coolness and some of the warm shadows to kind of mingle. I want all these little colors to kind of hook up and meet, and basically have a little bit of some of these conversations with each other, so that they're kind of in sync. I don't want anything too contrasty or too garish at this point, to make it something jump out more than it would. So I kind of am loving how these colors are just radiating and beaming off the city now. Really like that effect. A little bit more magic, a little more ethereal, but it's something I think a little less common, for something like this. And I think it's just making something that I personally visually haven't really seen all that much, and I think it makes for a very visually striking image. Now at this part, in the session, we flip the canvas, we get a fresh look on things, and I think we both agreed like that the current color situation happening in this light, this direct light, everything else is ambient light, but this direct light hitting this city is very flat. And even if you want to do something very subtle, like these cooler kind of tones hitting you can put a lot of subtleties in the colors. So I'm putting hints of these greens. Again, that's going to be the glue, but I'm also putting some more of these pinks and yellows in there as a base as well. So I'm using a brush with color dynamics. I'm using a little bit of a texture brush. I have the highlight area selected with the magic wand, and I'm just going in and embellishing the color. This is something that does take a little experience. I have to feel my way through it. There is slight trial and error in this. If I could, sometimes I push things a little too far. But again, here is this perfect situation where I'm trying to show the student how I'm pushing the form. So rather than going in value, light or dark, I'm going like slightly cooler and then slightly warmer to show that there's form and that there's a slight edge in the architecture right there, and how I'd kind of show a finish. Like that. And then this is where like Remember, even in a dark, shadowy situation like this door, this frame, you can get in there and put lots of nice subtle bounce light. And again, for me, that's going to be these greens and these yellows. Again, a little bit more on the warmer side because I ultimately we push for cooler colors on the exterior, even though I kind of have a warmer base right now. And it's these little colors and these subtle transitions that I really do think holds the piece together and brings a lot of these subtleties to life. A lot of these little things that the 3D is not really calculating and doing under its current settings. You can obviously try different renders, material options, and get things pushed a lot further than this, but for us 2D artists, we often just like to use the swiftness that the 3D provides to help kind of ground and cement our idea, and then kind of go from there, rather than get something that looks just absolutely photoreal out of the gate. So I'm putting greens basically in every little bit of these shadows over around this main gate that would have some bounce light or it be underlit. And I'm putting these purples and a lot more muted blues into these shadow areas itself. And I want to show that there's a few hard-edged forms in there, but I don't want to, I strongly recommend not to detail everything in the shadow there because it's kind of about what's getting hit here in the light. And so last, we kind of just roughly talk about the foreground. The foreground's okay. I definitely would change a few things. I'd get a lot better variety of shapes, and of course here I'm showing how to push those colors. This is what I really like to do with a lot of my students, and what a lot of people struggle with is these color and light aspects. So again, I'm pushing the highlights, the blues, I'm saturating them on a lot of these rocks. I'm using a lot of greens, again, to tie the warmth from this little pixie or this sprite into the foreground too. So I'm just putting these greens all over this rather muted and dull palette that's happening in the foreground. And then when I have the green base there over the blue, I'm coming back and sandwiching it with more of those oranges, those ochres, and those yellows right over those colors. So by layering my color like that in a very methodical, or kind of not even systematic way, but I'm approaching the color with depth and with layers, so it does build up that life in the palette and absolutely brings it to life, as you can start to see the foreground really start to do here. And from here, we've addressed a lot of the problems. The students have to put the time in to really push everything else that we've kind of covered this session. They've already mentioned they're going to push the lights in the city a whole lot more. Really embellish them to make it look like it's lit up, and designed out. And then I recommend finding these pattern and rhythms in some of these shapes that get lost in in some of this other foreground area. Basically kind of like this, where it's just like find some pattern and some rhythm, find some big shapes, small shapes, and push those in a very subtle way to make the composition kind of just really jump out and come alive. The other thing I recommended that we don't really cover in this is to, of course, detail that planet and that Earth up there a little bit more to make it, obvious that it's like the Earth. But yeah, see, pretty huge difference, and that already a great idea. But sometimes it's just we need someone else's eyes on things to really push it to get the best results. So guys, where is your struggle with color? Do you struggle coloring in a line art image? Do you struggle coloring a black and white value scale painting? Do you struggle painting over 3D like this? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys, and take care.